Hey everybody, Jeremy here, and today we're just going to get right into it. Today I'm going to be making some ribs inside of the Ninja Foodi. This is something that is also very easy for you to do. It doesn't take a whole lot of ingredients, but it does take a little bit of time. Now we're going to be pressure cooking these, and then we are going to air fry them to finish them up, and we're going to have barbecue sauce and all that good stuff. So what I did is I had a whole big rack of ribs here, and then I just cut them up. I cut them up, and you see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 pieces. We'll fit as many as we can into the foodie. So I've washed them off, I patted them dry, and now we just need to season these. Now, can't exactly tell you how much seasoning that you will need. Just give them a good coating. But for now, I'm just going to start off with a fourth of a cup of barbecue seasoning, whichever type that you want to use. I threw in about a tablespoon of salt and a couple of tablespoons of brown sugar. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to coat them front and back. All right, we are looking good. Now for the liquid that we're going to be using to pressure cook, I am going to put in a half a cup of Dr. Pepper. That's going to go right there on the bottom. And then using the cooking crisp basket, I'm just going to just sort of lay these ribs up as much as I can, kind of like this. Now, Ninja does sell an accessory specifically for cooking ribs that you can get from their website, and that would definitely make this a much easier process, a much neater process. But if you are like me and you don't have one of those, you can just try to do it like this. So that looks like all that I'm going to be able to fit inside of this basket for right now, but that's good enough. I'm just going to put the other piece inside of the refrigerator and we can get this started. So we need to assemble our pressure cooking lid. So I'm going to put that on. So make sure that we're sealed. We are now. Turn her on and we're going to pressure on high, which is usually for most applications with this thing. And we're going to pressure cook it for 19 minutes of pressure cooking. Start. And now we wait. Once the pressure cooking is done, we can start the air frying process, and then we'll be able to stir some barbecue sauce up and coat it on the ribs when it's maybe about halfway done with that process, and then we will be done and we can eat. So I'll see you when it's done pressure cooking. Pressure cooking is done, and let me tell you, it smells pretty good in here right now. So now we got to release the pressure before we start the air crisping, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, let's take a look at these. Take this lid off. Steam. Now, naturally, we didn't brown these before we started to pressure cook them, so just like all meats, they look pale. But that's why we're going to air crisp it. So let's just close this down. We're going to leave them alone. We're not going to do anything to them right now. And we're going to hit air crisp, 400 degrees, and we're going to do it for 15 minutes. In 10 minutes, we're going to come back. We're going to take the ribs out, brush them with some barbecue sauce, and then put them back in for the last 5 minutes. Our ribs are looking nice and brown now. But before we finish them up for the last 5 minutes, let's put some barbecue sauce on them. So I got myself one of these little silicone brushes, because I found that they are much easier to deal with than the ones that have like those little natural bristles, and you don't have to worry about those little fine pieces falling off into your food without you knowing. So the barbecue sauce that I'm using is just classic old Sweet Baby Ray's. You know, just the regular Sweet Baby Ray's. Of course, you can use whatever kind of barbecue sauce that you want. It's all good. but just make sure that you are very liberal in your application. Also got my tongs here, and I don't know why everything is red. It's just kind of working out that way. And I'm just going to try to move these so that I can get the back. Another thing I like about this silicone brush is that it's real flexible. So it lets you get into those little nooks and crannies and crevices that you probably otherwise would not be able to do all that easily. All right, all done. So we're going to close it back up and let it go for the last 5 minutes. Looking real good. Yes. All right, let's get these out, put them onto a plate. So just for good measure, I'm going to put another topping of this barbecue sauce on the ribs, just for presentation's sake. And then, you know, I have got to try them. I've got to try them. Now, one of the biggest questions is always going to be, how tender are the ribs? Well, we need to find out. So let's just try to separate them. Whoa, look at that. So I think that is the very definition of fall off the bone. I didn't even try, it just fell off. All right, I grabbed a healthy little chunk right there while trying not to knock all the other ribs off the plate. And let's give this a taste. Scorching hot right now. Oh yeah, these ribs are so good. It's those kind of ribs where you can have a mouthful and you feel like you should chew it all, but eventually you just swallow just all of it at once, and you're at no risk of choking yourself because it's just that tender. And I gotta tell you, I've tried making ribs. Ribs have always kind of intimidated me. I tried to do them like inside of a slow cooker in the past many times, and it just never came out the way that I wanted them to come out. But just trying this with the Ninja Foodi in this somewhat brief period of time that it took to do this, about 20 minutes of pressure cooking, 15 minutes of air crisping and barbecue sauce applications. And this is just way better than anything that I've tried to do before with ribs. These are so good. So definitely, if you want to go out, these were St. Louis cut ribs. That's what I use for this, but of course you can use whatever you want. And it's about 3 pounds, costs 11 to 12 bucks. So, you know, that's dinner. And if you're one person, that's dinner for a couple of days, maybe even a few days. But this was really good. So I highly recommend cooking your ribs in the Ninja Foodi. Came out fantastic. Fall off the bone, as you see here. So thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.